Welcome to Mystifying Miracles. Glad you're here. Today is a short story and it involves the healing of a child's wound, I guess you could say. I'm going to dive into this cool story. You're going to want to hear it. Stay tuned. All right. So as we all know, miracles, they're not always extravagant. God does all kinds of these miracles for which there's just no explanation. Well, a woman by the name of Polly Heller, she was a stay-at-home mom. She had two sons that were 8 and 6 and a 4-year-old daughter. Now, she did homeschool all three, so it was an extremely busy household. You had the homeschool, you had soccer games, soccer practice, church activities, etc., etc. And in addition, on top of all that, her and her husband Alan actually put on these marriage workshops. Polly says her two older sons obviously constantly nagged and picked on the little sister, as is common, right? And the little girl, her name was Jessie. She'd kick, run, scream, anything so that her little voice could be heard over her brothers. Well, there came a time where Josh and David, the boys, they were kind of roughhousing one day with little Jessie. And she runs into the house just crying, calling for her mother. She shows her mom her thumbnail. It was broken straight across the quick. And the break actually extended part way into the nail bed. The broken part itself kind of ended in a sharp point. So there was no way that mom could actually trim it, so that it wouldn't get snagged or anything, because doing so would cut into the little girl's tender nail bed. That just sounds painful. So since that wasn't an option, mom did the only thing she knew to do. She puts a Band-Aid on it and kisses it all better. And that was great for a few days. All was well. A few days later, Jessie comes back in crying to her mother, telling her how badly it's aching. Well, up until this point, mom actually had forgotten about the whole thing because it hadn't been a problem and the little girl hadn't complained. So she was kind of like, oh yeah, she kind of felt a little bit bad that she forgot all about it. So she takes the Band-Aid off and she sees just how puffy, inflamed, and there was pus everywhere all over her poor little thumb. So obviously Polly calls the doctor, to which the nurse tells her, well, it sounds like she might need a minor little surgery. They're going to have to numb it up with some lidocaine and probably try to remove the whole nail. They did have an appointment that same day, later that afternoon at 4 p.m. So mom goes ahead and books the appointment. In the meantime, she lays Jessie down for a nap before going to the appointment. She gives her some Tylenol, and Polly says she remembers standing by the bunk bed, and she says a prayer for little Jessie that God would provide healing for her thumb. And it was 2 hours after that point where mom's busy doing something around the home, and she hears Jessie calling from the bedroom, and she's saying, Mommy, my thumb's all better. So Polly runs back there into the bedroom, not sure what the little girl is referencing or meaning by that. She opens the door and immediately little Jessie throws her thumb up in front of her mom's face and she says, see, Jesus made my thumb all better. And sure enough, she was right. He had. The thumb, it was now pink, normal, and there wasn't any evidence that it had ever been swollen in the first place. And get this, guys, the nail itself, this is wild. It was completely restored, not broken at all. You would think at the very least, okay, maybe the nail fell off, so you don't have to worry about it cutting into the nail bed or, snagging. That's what I thought was going to be, but no. Her nail was completely restored. She hugs the little girl, and at the same time, mom is just thanking God for his goodness. They didn't have to go to that doctor appointment after all. And it was many, many years later where Polly says that she wondered why did he allow her to see his power firsthand with the healing of her little girl's thumb. And yet, 28 years later, he allowed her firstborn son to pass away from colon cancer. So she struggled with that at some point. But she says something, and she gives a quote. She says, maybe he, referencing God, maybe he wanted me to know in both cases, in the healing and in the homegoing, meaning her son, that God is always there. He's always right there. What an incredible story of a miraculous healing. Again, just a little wound on the thumb, but still completely restored within a few hours. Just amazing. Obviously, that was many years ago. And Polly, she is now a grandma to one of her son and Jessie's kids. She and her husband also wrote a book, and it's called The Marital Mystery Tour. Also another one called Learning How to Trust Again. But what an incredible testimony of her daughter's healing of the thumb. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know. Have you ever had something happen like that, where you've had a wound heal up like that, where God's just done something amazing? Let me know. I love hearing it, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I'm going to see you for the next story.